اليوم يوم تاريخي. اليوم يوم تاريخي.
There is a brutal massacre unfolding right now in Sudan. Hundreds of civilians were murdered in a hospital earlier this week, and that is only one part of a much larger tragedy. Eyewitnesses and videos emerging from the ground show the Rapid Support Forces, known as the RSF, going door to door, killing men, women, and children. The violence has become so extreme that blood-stained earth is visible even in satellite imagery. This situation is still developing, but here is what is known so far about the recent escalation in Sudan's ongoing civil war. Between October 26th and 28th, the RSF captured Al-Fashir, the last major city held by the Sudan Armed Forces, or SAF, in North Darfur. The SAF withdrew from key positions, allowing RSF forces to enter the city. This marked a potential turning point in the war. Al-Fashir had been a humanitarian hub sheltering around 260,000 people, and that same area is now being ravaged by the RSF. In recent days, countless videos have shown RSF fighters systematically moving from house to house, killing every man, woman, and child they find. According to a BBC report, Sudan descended into civil war in April 2023 after a violent power struggle broke out between the country's army and the RSF. Since then, over 150,000 people have been killed and around 12 million have fled their homes. The United Nations describes this as the world's largest humanitarian crisis. The two main forces in the conflict are the SAF and the RSF. The SAF represents Sudan's official military and aims to preserve centralized control over the country. It is backed to varying degrees by Egypt, Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. The RSF, on the other hand, is a powerful paramilitary organization with backing from the United Arab Emirates and remnants of Russia's Wagner Group. The roots of the conflict trace back to disagreements about integrating the RSF into the SAF. The SAF wanted integration within 2 years, with RSF officers becoming subordinate to regular army leadership. The RSF wanted a 10-year timeline and to maintain its own chain of command and business interests. These differences were never resolved, and the fighting has continued ever since. The most horrifying recent incident occurred at a hospital in North Darfur. According to the Associated Press, hundreds of people were killed there after the RSF seized the provincial capital. Around 460 patients and their companions were reportedly murdered at the Saudi hospital by RSF fighters. Witnesses described RSF troops going house to house, shooting civilians, including women and children. Many people were killed in the streets or while trying to flee for safety. The Yale School of Public Health's Humanitarian Research Lab released satellite imagery confirming mass killings. One image, taken on October 27th, showed clusters of objects matching the size of human bodies, reddish ground discoloration consistent with blood, and several vehicles. These details were not present in earlier satellite images. Other images showed more clusters of bodies, red-stained earth, and tactical vehicles consistent with the RSF's house-to-house clearance operations. Reports indicate that the Sudanese military had already left the area, meaning the attacks targeted civilians almost exclusively. Further imagery revealed bodies along what appeared to be a defensive berm surrounding the city. According to CNN, Nathaniel Raymond, the executive director of Yale's research lab, described this berm as an earth wall as high as 9 feet, effectively trapping civilians inside what he called a kill box. The Rapid Support Forces have surrounded the city, cutting off escape routes and methodically killing those inside. International organizations have begun to sound the alarm. The United Nations Human Rights Office reported receiving multiple accounts of atrocities, including summary executions, after the RSF took control of large parts of Al-Fashir and other nearby cities. The UN warned that the risk of further ethnically motivated mass killings is increasing daily and urged immediate action to protect civilians and allow safe passage for those fleeing. The UN also reminded RSF commanders of their obligations under international humanitarian law to protect civilians and ensure the delivery of essential humanitarian supplies. CNN reported that eyewitness accounts, videos, and satellite evidence all confirm large-scale massacres that began within hours of the Sudanese army's withdrawal from the city. Videos shared online show RSF fighters rounding up and killing unarmed civilians. CNN verified that the insignia worn by the fighters matched those used by the RSF. Many of the videos were filmed and published by the fighters themselves. Other footage shows armed RSF vehicles driving through the city, apparently hunting civilians who were trying to escape. In one chilling video, RSF members can be heard shouting, "Catch the girls." This reflects one of the darkest patterns of the conflict: widespread killing, looting, and the systematic capture and rape of women and young girls by RSF fighters. Reports from humanitarian groups indicate that these abuses are taking place daily in areas controlled by the RSF. Although both sides have faced accusations of harming civilians, the most severe atrocities, including massacres and sexual violence, have overwhelmingly been committed by the RSF. RSF leader Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, also known as Hemedti, acknowledged that violations may have occurred and announced plans to investigate. However, the RSF has denied responsibility for the hospital massacre, calling the reports fabricated narratives, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. International condemnation has slowly begun, though there has been little concrete action. Several global organizations have issued warnings and statements, but there has been minimal response from major powers such as the United States so far. As of now, Sudan remains trapped in one of the deadliest and most devastating humanitarian crises in the world. The city of Al-Fashir, once a place of refuge, has become the epicenter of unimaginable suffering. Civilians are being slaughtered, entire families wiped out, and the soil itself has turned red with their blood. The situation continues to deteriorate, and the world is watching a tragedy unfold in real time. Behind every number is a story. And behind every story, a life that truly matters. Be a voice for the voiceless, subscribe, share, and help keep the light of truth alive. With Legentara.